You don't have a motivation problem. You have a discipline, structure problem. And there's a very important difference between the two, because one of them you can fix starting today, and one of them will keep you stuck forever. Most people spend their entire lives waiting to feel motivated before they start. They wait for the right moment, the right mood, the right energy. And while they wait, the people who are actually building the life they want aren't more motivated than you. They just stopped waiting. What you'll get from this video? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how discipline is built, not found, not waited for, built, even when motivation is completely absent. By the end, you'll have a system, not a mindset hack, an actual repeatable system. Let's rewire. Here's the core problem with waiting for motivation. Motivation is an emotion, and like every emotion, it comes and goes. It peaks, it crashes, it disappears for days at a time. Building your life around motivation is like trying to drive a car using only the fuel that appears naturally in the tank. Discipline is different. Discipline is a system. It's a set of behaviors and structures that produce results regardless of how you feel on any given day. The people who consistently achieve things aren't always motivated, they're consistent, and consistency comes from structure, not from feeling. The shift from "I need to feel motivated" to "I have a system that works whether I feel like it or not" is the single most important mental upgrade you can make. Step 1. Stop relying on willpower and start designing your environment. Willpower is one of the most overrated concepts in self-improvement. Research from psychologist Roy Baumeister shows that willpower is a finite resource. It depletes with use, just like a muscle getting tired. And once it's gone, every bad habit becomes dramatically easier to give into. The people who appear to have the most discipline aren't using more willpower than you. They've designed their environments so that the right behaviors are easy and the wrong behaviors are hard. Want to stop using your phone in the morning? Put it in another room. Want to exercise more? Sleep in your workout clothes. Want to eat better? Remove the junk food from your house entirely. You're not fighting your impulses, you're redesigning the battlefield so the fight barely happens. Environment design is the highest leverage tool in building discipline because it works even when your willpower is at zero. The question isn't, how do I force myself to do this? The question is, how do I make it almost impossible not to do this? Step 2. Use the 2-minute rule to break inertia. The hardest part of any task is starting, not doing it, starting it. The psychological weight of beginning something is almost always heavier than the task itself. Stanford psychologist B.J. Fogg spent years studying why people fail to act on their intentions. His conclusion was clear. The barrier isn't desire, it's friction. The moment something feels hard to start, your brain classifies it as a threat and finds every reason to delay. The 2-minute rule removes that friction. The rule is simple. When you're avoiding something, commit to just 2 minutes, not the whole task, just 2 minutes. What happens in practice? Almost every time you start, you keep going. Because the resistance was never the task, it was the beginning. 2 minutes of reading becomes 20. 2 minutes of exercise becomes 40. 2 minutes of work becomes a full session. Inertia is the enemy of discipline. The 2-minute rule is the fastest tool you have to break it. Every time you use it, you're also sending a message to your brain, I am someone who starts. That identity compounds. 2 steps in, and the next one is the one almost nobody talks about, but it might be the real reason your discipline keeps collapsing every single time you try to build it. Stay with me. Step 3. Build identity before habits. Most people try to build habits by focusing on outcomes. They say, I want to lose weight, or I want to be more productive, and they fail. Not because the goal is wrong, but because they're trying to change behavior without changing identity. Author James Clear in Atomic Habits makes this point clearly. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. When you go to the gym once, you've cast 1 vote for I am someone who exercises. When you do it 3 times in a week, you've cast 3 votes. When you do it for a month, the identity starts to solidify.
Discipline becomes dramatically easier when it's connected to who you are, not just what you want. So instead of asking, how do I force myself to exercise, ask, what would a disciplined person do right now? That shift in question changes everything. Because you're no longer fighting against yourself, you're acting in alignment with who you're choosing to become. Every small action, completed, not abandoned, is a brick in that identity. And eventually, you don't need motivation to do the thing. You do it because that's who you are now. Step 4. Remove the decision entirely. Every time you have to decide whether to do something, exercise, work, study, wake up early, you're burning mental energy. And that mental energy is exactly what you need to actually do the thing. Highly disciplined people don't decide every day to maintain their habits. The decision was already made once in advance and encoded into their schedule. It's not a choice anymore, it's an appointment. Schedule your discipline like a non-negotiable meeting. Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 a.m., exercise. Every morning from 8 to 10, deep work. No exceptions, no negotiations with yourself. No, I'll do it later. When the time comes, you don't ask yourself if you feel like it, you just go. Because the decision was already made. This is how you eliminate the daily battle with motivation entirely. You're not fighting your feelings anymore. You've simply made the choice in advance when your brain was clear and your intentions were strong. Pre-decided discipline is the most durable kind. And step 5, the one that holds everything else together. Protect your discipline by managing your recovery. Discipline isn't just about pushing harder, it's about protecting your capacity to keep going. And the biggest threat to that capacity isn't laziness, it's burnout from doing everything wrong between the hard work. When your sleep is poor, your willpower is reduced by up to 30%. When you spend your rest consuming stimulating content, social media, news, fast entertainment, your brain never actually recovers. It stays in reactive mode, running low, and the next day's discipline is already compromised before it starts. Recovery is a disciplined skill, not a passive experience. It requires actively protecting the hours that rebuild your capacity. What does that look like? A consistent sleep schedule, phone out of the bedroom, evening wind down that is genuinely calm. Movement every day, even light movement, to keep cortisol regulated and energy available. The strongest, most consistently disciplined people you've ever seen aren't superhuman. They've just learned that how you recover determines how far you can go. Build the hard sessions, but protect the recovery just as seriously. Because discipline without recovery is just a slow countdown to collapse. 5 steps. None of them require motivation to begin. Design your environment, break inertia with 2 minutes, build identity through action, automate your decisions, protect your recovery. That's the system. Not a feeling, not a mood, a system that works on the days you're exhausted, on the days you don't care, on the days everything feels pointless. Those are the days that build real discipline. You don't have to want it, you just have to start. If this hit different, subscribe to Rewire. Every week we break down exactly what's keeping you stuck and how to build the systems that fix it. And drop a comment. Which of these 5 steps are you starting with? I read every single one. See you in the next one.